Welcome everybody back to Spinner Rack. Today I'm talking to Petey, and we're doing a podcast of Triple Frontier from Netflix.
It's Triple Frontier.
What did I just say?
I don't know. You had a lot. It was all one thing. So we're doing Triple Frontier. It had Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaacs, Charlie Hunnam,
Who's from
everything, and Garrett Hedlund, and
Pablo Pascal.
and then our favorite, Adria Arjona.
I don't know. She's somebody new. But here, the question is it a good movie? Should you waste your time watching it? And I gotta say, let me just give you the basic background. Basically, Oscar Isaacs, he's in a Latin American country, and he works as helps with the government, and he works like something like a drug enforcement agent, and he is trying to get this big time mobster guy, mafia guy, who has a whole bunch of millions of dollars in his house, right? And so he thinks, let me go get my boys from the States, former unit guys.
Well, it's an off the books op to steal his money. And
so it's basically a heist. So they're going to go down there, they're going to smash and grab, take the money, a certain amount of money from his house. They already think it's only a couple of $1 million there. Take it on a plane, go over the Andes, make it to the Pacific, and just take off with a couple $1 million that they got. But guess what? As always, the best plans don't work out the way you think.
That's the problem with the movie, because it starts off fine. It starts off with a heist with these guys that are military guys. And the other thing is that, yes, after military, you kind of, change your format and ways and this, that, and the other. But they're doing the Murphy's Law or the wages of sin. All of this stuff comes into play, and it's giving us something that we've sort of seen before. But, they go for the heist. They finally find the money. Things go wrong, which you expect to happen. But when they find the money, they need to count the time that they've lost with the money.
But they found not just the money. They found so much money.
That doesn't mean anything.
It means everything, because they took way too much.
The pilot means that the pilot has to factor in the amount of money that he has to fly. We already seen American Made, right? So we know that you can't take off and get, you can't make you doing it in this helicopter.
Right. So they thought they were going to get like 10 or 20 million. In fact, they got over $100 million. So that's where the problem is. They had so much weight that they didn't know what to do. They were so greedy, they decided to take all the money.
Yes.
And so that's the problem that we have here. They burnt the rest, what they couldn't take. But still, $100 million, the weight on that is incredible.
Yes.
And so that was basically the start of where all their problems started to occur. Mm-hmm. And so...
So basically you got this morality play where the money gets chipped and shipped as you go along. It keeps getting chipped down, and things keep going wrong as they go to the story. And ultimately, when they land, they have to land the helicopter because they can't get over the mountain. They're too heavy, right? And it wrecks the helicopter. Somehow in movies, you can crash in a helicopter and survive. But, the fact that it's not, like a plane, it's not set up where you can just be in a seatbelt and survive in airbags. It's just like you're standing around, bouncing around there, just like some jelly beans in a pack, and you survive. So they make it out. They run into some locals, which obviously the only business out there is drugs. They're like, hey, this is money. They're about to take the money. They shoot and kill people. So more debt, morality debt is caused, and then of course they're being followed. And then you not only find that out, the people that are following them just want payback for the people they shot in this small town.
Yeah.
So it's just like playing this morality thing and the people who are out for vengeance, their plan is better than the people doing the heist. It's like, my friends are going to set you up so you kill them, and then I get one of the men here. We're not going to spoil that, but it is a surprise. And as you move forward, then it's like, how did they get out of here? How did they get out of town? And
how did they get here?
And I think those were the interesting points of...
What points? The points of when they ended up killing people in order to secure their money, or the point where...
the point when they had less options to get out of town. So the one guy went in, set up, came back, and then he went back to it separately, and went back, and then they had a quick dash to get out of town. They get followed. They get chased. They get a kid. But then that's the thing. There's also these weird points where the girl who helped them out, she was solid, and she followed through. Or the little kid they gave some money to, like I don't know. These people don't wind up dead, but then they wind up back, and then you find out it's all for naught. Which is what all these morality plays go through. So,
and that's why in the very end it sucks what happened. It was a waste of time.
It's not a waste of time.
There is a potential, because what happened is that they get back to the States, and I guess we're going to say what happened, right? I mean, everybody should have watched the movie.
No, we're not going to do
Okay,
that.
so what happens is that there can be a part 2. You know?
No, there can be
not
a thing.
not all the money made it back to the States.
Who wants to decide that they're gonna go out there and it's too crazy?
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's the problem I say is that with these morality tales is that you ended up having to make a decision as to they originally went there to supposed to be a smash and grab. No one's supposed to get hurt, and tons of people end up dying. You know, tons of innocent people end up dying, which is not good. You know, but they end up having to, and members of their things get hurt, and you have to say, wait a second, you know, was it really worth it? And that's what a lot of them say, it's not really worth it. But in reality, they only gave away a certain percentage of the money. There's still a lot more money left over that they need to go out and get. Okay, so I think there's always a potential. If not, these top name actors, probably there'll be a B-list cast who'll do the second frontier. Oh, we heard about this money, so let's go get it. You know, and they do that. I think that's going to work. But this movie here,
like Belly 2. Like you're trying to say, do Belly 2 with the game.
Right, but I'm saying the problem is this movie here is that, you know, the expectations I don't think are realistic. Morality play or not. You know, I think that at the very end, people would have done something a little different. And so that's been my biggest problem. I think the movie let me down at the very end. You know, I think that it took realistic points that, yeah, you know, in order to get this money, it's going to cost you. Where they thought nothing was going to happen, it cost them. They had to make tough decisions. And were they right decisions? No, a lot of times. But the fact that the decisions were made and you had to suffer the consequences. What they did at the very end of the movie, I thought was kind of a simple cop-out. Because the people that you killed or people that you had to deal with, you know, you left a lot of broken, what do you call that? Broke a
lot of eggs.
Broken eggs all over the place, and that stuff is going to come back to get you.
I don't know
unless
about
you
that.
do something. Yeah, I think
you're not coming back to those towns.
Yeah, but these somebody lost over $100 million. You think they're going to not try to figure out who did it or what happened?
Ultimately, I don't think they should have burned the house. I think the aspect of taking the money and leave it in a heist is a good angle to stay with, but then they have a reason to say, all right, they got money, but they didn't take everything. And one of the things is, I think some of the best parts is with the girl that helps them. She has a scene with Ben Affleck, and Ben Affleck keeps pushing on. He's like, when did you start having sex with her? And then he turns to her and she says, okay, what name does she call out when you're and it's interesting because it's going to lead to Ben Affleck having to do the hard choice of saying this girl helped him get the money, and now it's time to toss him over the boat, you know, and get rid of him. And Oscar Isaac is showing that he did have a connection.
He always has a connection.
And he saved. But that's the thing. This is one of the things that you could see, and this is my. I'm assuming. This is that they tested the movie and it didn't test well, but then they said, well, we can take it to Netflix, and that's what it is. It's good enough for Netflix.
Yeah,
you're sitting on there and you're like, okay, it's not like you're in a movie. In the movie theater, there's many movies that play like this, but ultimately, as the story goes, it's the A and B stories should lead to something different, where there's something that is a big surprise that leads the characters a different way. And this one is basically sort of a 2-act thing where it's like, let's deal with this money. Now how do we get back home with this money?
Yeah, and I agree with you there. But I think one of the reasons why it didn't do as well as it possibly could, I don't think it had enough of a look. In this, I look at the numbers, I look at the people, I look at the audience.
How do you look at the Netflix numbers?
I'm saying you can't look at the Netflix numbers, but I'm just saying what you can do is, you know, see what social responses. There are companies that measure social responses for some of the shows and movies that come out of Netflix, and say they try to gauge how well or popular these things are. This was not a huge success for Netflix.
Well,
but hold on. What I'm trying to say though is that one of the reasons is that a big audience is always missing women. Yes, this is an action flick, but you only had one woman who had a minor role whereas opposed to you could have had some other moments. There were some interesting stories.
Another girl heist?
No, but I'm
sharpshooter?
not another girl heist. But I'm just trying to say.
I'm not saying girl that's
but
a
I'm
heist
saying there
part
are
of the
other.
army thing.
I'm saying that there were characters there that when you saw their lives and stuff, you didn't see any of their female counterparts or anything being part or understanding or even discussing. And I think that's a big problem when you have these movies. You have to connect to other people, and if you don't connect, then that's what happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, but other thing is saying that you have to put women in there for people to connect with it is kind of like it's asking a little too much of the audience is saying, well, we missed this demographic and that's why it didn't hit. Whereas ultimately, I think you can do a movie like one of my favorite movies is The Usual Suspects, and only have basically one woman in there, one female character in there, and she's just a lawyer in it. And most of the time when you have a smaller movie, it's not really a thing. You can say adding more female characters could help it, but I just don't. I think that movies this is a male-dominated industry. They do movies where it's mostly guys and the girls are just a love interest.
And I agree with you, but the question is, did you feel connected to the characters in the movie? Yes or no? I didn't, and this is the type of movie that I like. I like some of the characters. Pedro Pascal is one of my favorites. I like him. Oscar Arias, Ben Affleck. Look, on paper, all these guys look excellent, and they should have been a bang-out cast, but I didn't really feel, I didn't connect.
The thing is that when you get to the story, they can't, the thing is that the MacGuffin is the money, right? The money is supposed to lead you in one way, while the story goes the other way.
Right.
And this time, we're stuck with the money, because they're thinking that the money is the character that they think we care about. But in Psycho, they showed you that yes, the people care about the money, but if the storylines goes here, and she drives you thinking that the story is about money, and she runs into the serial killer at the spot. So we've had all this tension early on, and we lose the tension because we feel that the mother is going to do something bad to this girl, and she's got people coming at their money, so now we're worried about her. So the thing is, they needed to understand what the money was, and the money can be a character, but you can't make the money is only a MacGuffin, and you can trick people by leading them somewhere because people want you to get out with the money, but you have to remember that what you have to do is take them on a different path. They find something else, and that's what bringing up The Usual Suspects. They're on this thing where they're supposed to go to this boat to pick up $92 million, right? Of cocaine. That's what they're on the boat for. They get on there, there's no cocaine on the boat. And they're like, there's no coke. And then next thing you know, you find out that it wasn't, the people were selling somebody for this as a person that saw Kaiser Sose. And that's understanding that the money is a strong plot. But then first we would like to see how good they are, and that builds my connection with the characters. I don't want to see Ben Affleck being, I've been out of a job and I just want more money. That's the thing. When you had the point of saying with a guy who was the time guy saying, no, I just want to get a little more, then we're just playing with, we don't know these guys are that good. This is the first time we met them, and that's what I think could have built us. I think going back to The Usual Suspects again, they have a scene where you see them do a heist, which works. And they say, we got to do one more. And he's like, no, I'm not doing one more. I have, we did it. He said one. That's it. And that's where you get to the end of the story. That you just have to understand that the money, whereas fine, it's not always a strong enough character to sort of say.
So the question is, does this work, though? Did this movie work for you? A simple yes or no.
Oh, God, why are you doing this to me? I think that I didn't bail on it. That's the thing. So for Netflix, it's fine. If I've been in the theater and find out this is just going to be them ending up with $1 at the end, it's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Well, I tell you right now, watching the movie, at the end, they did end up with $1, and that's one of the things that I hated about this whole thing.
Well, that's the thing.
So my big thing is that's there. It's there. You can't get rid of it. But I think there's redemption in the possibility that it could be another movie. It doesn't have to be this cast. It could be another cast, and it could be a much tighter movie, and it could be a movie that, like I said, this one should have worked on paper. It didn't. I just didn't feel connected to the cast.
Well, they also had another side plot that if anyone was watching, it felt like Ben Affleck's character was going to take everybody out for whatever reason. To slowly, this guy got shot, taking him out. This girl, and that would have built a lot of tension to say, it's gonna be a duel between who has the money last, instead of being a thing where the money runs out as far as they keep dropping it as it going on. So in my mind, they just needed another element, which is always hard to say. You finished your film, did your film, you went in and did the film you wanted, but then it's like, hey, if we had one more element, we could. No, this is what we wanted to do. And everyone gives it up because I don't. Right, you gotta see it. You gotta see it then.
I'm saying if you have a quiet afternoon,
you got a Netflix account,
and you want to watch a little action,
yeah,
it's gonna be good to a point.
Because the surprise in the middle,
but whether or not it keeps you is a whole other issue. So listen, Spinner Rack
out.